In October 2014, I had the unique privilege of attending a Royal Commission. Not just any commission, this was into institutional responses to child sexual abuse. And the case that I was interested in looking at was Hillsong's response to the allegations made against Frank Houston and how Brian was going to be dealing with that. And so I did see Brian Houston at this Royal Commission, and I did see him put his hand on that Bible and take the oath to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. But what followed was a man, when he was in that seat, he was squirming. He didn't like some of these questions being asked to him, and for once, he wasn't behind the pulpit using his congregation to do the fighting for him. No one was there on social media to defend Brian. Brian had to defend his own actions, and it was stunning. He had to fight for himself. And wow, what I saw was a man trying to obfuscate, exaggerate, and conflate the truth on so many instances, to the point that I could tell that the people in the room were getting frustrated. And you'll see why I'm saying that when we start going through some of the videos at the Royal Commission and then start looking at the exhibits that were presented. And you'll see what I mean when you start looking at that Royal Commission footage yourself, and when you start going through the exhibits and the testimonies that were coming out throughout that week. It was a fascinating experience, something I'll never forget. So, my name is Jake Elliott, and in this episode of The Framework, we're going to be looking at one specific thing that he said at this Royal Commission, which makes you go, why did you say that at the Royal Commission when you said nearly the exact opposite to the media afterwards? So, see you on the other side. Now, as much as I saw shocking evidence at the Royal Commission, nothing could prepare me what I was about to see surface in the weeks, months, and years to come. And I managed to get some of the resources that really surprised me. Some of them are even on my bookshelf. We had the release of The Human Spirit by Frank Houston, released in 1999. I managed to get Brian Houston's You Can Change the Future, which was published a year later, praising Frank Houston. I'm not talking about a year later after Frank confessed, so we'll look at that one in another video. Bobby Houston as well, also seemingly saying something amazing about Frank Houston in her work in 2001 and 2002. And The Apostolic Revolution by David Carledge, capturing the mindset of the apostles of Hillsong and the AOG and the ACC that was formed in the year 2000. They couldn't wait to bring down C. Peter Wagner and the New Apostolic Reformation apostles from America. So Brian Houston was very busy trying to really create an amazing image of his church, the AOG and the ACC, among the churches of Australia. So these books are important for one reason for me, and that's because it helps you understand how people were thinking at the time, especially when Frank confessed in 1999 and this type of literature started surfacing in such a way that exalted Frank. You'd almost think that it would be really insensitive to do that. So in videos to come, I want to focus how Hillsong decided to present Frank and their entire story of Hillsong from 1977 all the way up to around about 2002. And some videos after that, I'll be focusing on how they managed the narrative or the framework and how they wanted their church to be viewed by the general public and the churches of Australia. Because what was really shocking about 2014 was that no one in Australia knew about the Australian victims. We were all led to believe that it had happened in New Zealand over 30 years ago. That was the narrative everyone believed. So you can imagine the shock when this Royal Commission came about and there's a victim sitting up there saying, I was sexually abused by Frank. It was, the news was amazing. It was terrifyingly sad to watch someone just get up there and relive their horrors. No one should ever have to do that, ever. And it was heartbreaking, and that was damning of itself. And I think that's one of the reasons why Brian Houston was squirming so badly, because I don't think he was prepared to go into the amount of detail that he was prepared to go into. So please look at those videos online on the YouTube channel. I think it was called Hillsong Accountability, so check that out. So the victim was petrified of Frank Houston, and rightly so. Frank Houston was hassling him in 1999 to catch up. And prior to that, it would make sense why a victim would not want to actually seek any legal or course of action or go to the police. However, everything changed after Frank confessed to pedophilia to Brian. So that's the context here. At the Royal Commission and in an exhibit, Brian Houston acknowledges the fact that Brett Sengstock, one of the victims, admitted that he knew Brett was thinking of taking legal action. Yep, he did actually say that. You'll hear it now.
Did you see that?
Yes.
So you knew by the 28th of November 1999 that AHA was considering taking the matter to court.
Yes.
And that could include criminal proceedings.
Yes.
And it could include civil proceedings.
Yes.
Clearly, if there were criminal or civil proceedings in public, that would first of all cause some humiliation to your father.
Yep.
Yes, it is true. Brett Sengstock was considering taking legal action, and here it is in the exhibit itself. It's bizarre. And I'm saying it's bizarre because this is what Brian Houston said to the media that week.
This guy was 37 when the complaint came out. He's 37 years old. And the truth of the story is that in talking to him, he was adamant, and this came out in the Royal Commission several times. He said, I didn't want a church investigation, I didn't want a police investigation, I just wanted you to know, I want it to be dealt with, and I want to get on with my life.
And then you got Brian Houston saying that the victim was of age and he could have done it himself. Now here is Brian Houston saying that the victim was so brittle, that's why he didn't help him go to the police.
You've described your father's actions as repulsive. Why didn't you go to police the moment you knew what he had done?
It was complicated in this sense. You've got a survivor, a victim who was so brittle emotionally, who is adamant. They don't want any kind of church investigation. They don't want any kind of police investigation or any other kind of civil investigation. And obviously, though, just wanted to be believed and wanted to see justice done. So there was that side of it. But to be honest, Ben, I just genuinely believed that a 36-year-old man, if he wants to go to the police, he can go to the police. And a child, if they're 9 or 10 or 12 now, there's absolutely no doubt what I would have done. I would have made sure we went straight to the police, as we would today. So I guess I just, rightly or wrongly, believed that it was his prerogative to go to the police if he wanted.
So I'm not quite sure how the media is missing this, because he also said this.
Why didn't, at that stage, you go to the police?
Rightly or wrongly, I genuinely believed that I would be preempting the victim if I were to just call the police at that point. When he came forward, he was 36 or 37 years old, and he was very adamant. He didn't want to involve the police. He didn't want the church authorities involved or the police authorities involved. And so he was brittle. And I think that, because of that, I didn't see the police as an option.
I don't know how Brian Houston can say one thing to the Royal Commission and then say the exact opposite to the media.
So you knew by the 28th of November 1999 that AHA was considering taking the matter to court.
Yes.
So there you have it. Like, already off the bat, it's hard to know how we should be regarding Brian Houston's testimony at the Royal Commission and then what he said afterwards. Because it's a real flip-flop. Did he want to actually help the victim because he knew that the victim was considering legal action? Or did he construct the victim in his head to not deal with it? I don't know. It's bizarre. And the fact that he's been saying this kind of straw man victim to the media is really concerning. So what are your thoughts? I'm going to be doing some more videos on my views and opinions and my investigations from the Royal Commission exhibits and stuff that didn't make it to the Royal Commission. So please subscribe and follow so that you can get tagged when one of those videos is coming up. Please share, please comment. I'm very interested to get your thoughts as well, and I'm interested to do this journey with you. See ya.